Yasuo is a man of resolve, an agile swordsman who wields the wind itself to cut down his foes. This once proud warrior has been disgraced by a false accusation and forced into a desperate fight for survival. With the world turned against him, he will do everything in his power to bring the guilty to justice and restore his honor. Formerly a brilliant pupil at a renowned Ionian sword school, Yasuo was the only student in a generation to master the legendary wind technique. Many believed he was destined to become a great hero. However, his fate changed forever when Noxus invaded. Yasuo was charged with guarding an Ionian elder, but foolishly, believing his blade alone could make the difference, he left his post to join the fray. By the time he returned, the elder had been slain. Disgraced, Yasuo willingly turned himself in, prepared to pay for his failure with his life. He was shocked, however, to find himself accused not just of dereliction, but of the murder itself. Though confused and racked with guilt, he knew the assassin would go unpunished if he did not act. Yasuo raised his sword against the school and fought his way free, knowing his treason would turn all of Ionia against him. Left truly alone for the first time in his life, he set out to find the elder's real killer. Yasuo spent the next several years wandering the land, seeking any clue that might lead him to his murderer. All the while, he was relentlessly hunted by his former allies, continually forced to fight or die. His mission drove him ever forward, until he was tracked down by his one foe he dreaded the most, his brother, Yone. Bound by a common code of honor, the two warriors bowed and drew their swords. Silently they circled one another under the moonlight. When they finally charged forward, Yone was no match for Yasuo. With a single flash of steel, he cut his brother down. Yasuo dropped his weapon and rushed to Yone's side. Overcome with emotion, he demanded to know how his own kin could think him guilty. Yone spoke. The elder was killed by a wind technique. Who else could it be? Understanding swept over Yasuo as he suddenly realized why he had been accused. He professed his innocence once more and begged his brother's forgiveness. Tears streamed down Yasuo's face as his brother passed in his arms. Yasuo buried Yone under the rising sun, but could take no time to mourn. Others would be after him before long. His brother's revelation had given Yasuo newfound purpose. He now had the clue that would lead to the true killer. Swearing an oath, he gathered his belongings and, with one last look at Yone's grave, set out with the wind at his back. Art requires a certain cruelty. Jun is a meticulous criminal psychopath who believes murder is an art. Once an Ionian prisoner, but freed by shadowy elements within Ionia's ruling council, the serial killer now works as their cabal's assassin. Using his gun as his paintbrush, Jin creates works of artistic brutality, horrifying victims and onlookers. He gains a cruel pleasure from putting on his gruesome theater, making him the ideal choice to send the most powerful of messages: terror. For years, Ionia's southern mountains were plagued by the infamous Golden Demon. Throughout the province of Zun, a monster slaughtered scores of travelers and sometimes whole farmsteads, leaving behind twisted displays of corpses. In desperation, the Council of Zun sent an envoy to beg Great Master Kusho for help. Upon hearing of the region's plight, Kusho feigned an excuse for why he couldn't help. But a week later, the master, his son Shen, and star apprentice Zed disguised themselves merchants. Their investigation took 4 long years and left the 3 men changed. The famous red mane of Kusho turned white. Shen, known for his wit and humor, became somber, and Zed, the brightest star of Kusho's temple, began to struggle with his studies. Upon finally finding a pattern to the killings, the Great Master is quoted as saying, "Good and evil are not truths. They are born from men, and each sees the shades differently." Depicted in a variety of plays and epic poems, the capture of the Golden Demon would be the 7th and final great feat in the illustrious career of Lord Kusho. On the eve of the Blossom Festival in June Pass, Kusho disguised himself as a renowned calligrapher to blend in with the other guest artists. Then he waited. Everyone had assumed only an evil spirit could commit these horrifying crimes. But Kusho had realized the killer was an ordinary man. The famed Golden Demon was actually a mere stagehand in Zun's traveling theaters and opera houses, working under the name of Kata Jin. When they caught Jin, young Zed marched forward to kill the cowering man, but Kusho held him back. Despite the horrors of Jin's actions, the legendary master decided the killer should be left alive at Tula prison. Shen disagreed, but accepted the emotionless logic of his father's judgment. Zed, disturbed and haunted by the murder scenes he had witnessed, was unable to understand or accept this mercy, and it is said a resentment began to bloom in his heart. Though imprisoned in Tula for many years, the polite and shy Kata Jin revealed little of himself. Even his real name remained a mystery. But while a prisoner, the monks noted he was a bright student who excelled in many subjects, including smithing, pottery, and dance. Regardless, the guards and monks could find nothing to cure him of his morbid fascinations. Outside the prison, Ionia fell into turmoil as the Noxian Empire's invasion led to political instability. War awoke the tranquil nation's appetite for bloodshed. The peace and balance Kusho had famously fought to protect was shattered from within as dark hearts rose in power and secret alliances competed for influence. Desperate to counter the power of the ninja and Wuju swordsmen, a cabal within the ruling council conspired to secretly free Jin and turn him into a weapon of terror. Now, With access to the Kashuri Armory's new weapons and nearly unlimited funds, the scale of Kagujin's performances has grown. His work has brought fear to many foreign dignitaries and to Ionia's secret political underground. But how long will a serial killer, craving attention, be satisfied in working the shadows?